Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining the digital showering training this morning. We're so excited to have all of you on the line, and we have great content and material to go through today, and also want to ensure that we answer any of those questions that you have. So please be sure to use the chat functionality. We have some of our Kohler team that will be helping to monitor that and answer and ask some of those questions back to the group so we can hear those for everyone as well. My name is Kevin Anderson. I'm the Senior Training Specialist for all of digital showering and all of global faucets for North America. So I do cover digital showering, intelligent products, bathroom, kitchen, commercial, and showering overall for all of the portfolios. So I've been with Kohler 23 years and hopefully can answer just about any of those questions you guys have today. So really excited to kick off this training. And as I do, I always like to start out my trainings with a quick video on the story of Kohler. This really engages kind of who we are. And I think it's pretty cool if you haven't seen this yet. So hopefully you enjoy this video and kick off to the session today.
The story of Kohler unfolds across generations. It's an entrepreneurial story of passion and drive, and a human story of lifting one another to a more gracious life. It begins in 1873 with a young man named John Michael Kohler, a first-generation immigrant. For John Michael, the world is a canvas for innovation. He finds success with a small foundry, casting farm equipment. Whether visionary or charmed entrepreneur, John Michael seizes an opportunity to afford his customers a basic human dignity. He enamels an iron trough, stands it on 4 feet, and crafts Kohler's first bathtub. And just like that, we're in the business of manufacturing. Cast iron tubs lead to toilets, sinks, and brass faucets. Fanning the flames of John Michael's passion and drive, his sons and daughters redefine gracious. This second generation welcomes immigrant factory workers, building the American Club as a home for foreign-born associates. Kohler Company is determined to provide gracious living to all, including rural communities without the modern convenience of power. Enter Kohler's engine-powered electric generator. With the flip of a switch, we're in the power business. Suddenly, Kohler is powering Admiral Byrd's trek across the Antarctic and energizing industrial efforts back home. Gracious moves beyond basic dignity to modern comfort. When the torch is passed again, a third generation leads the now 100-year-old company and breathes new life into gracious living through Destination Kohler. The American Club is transformed into a 5-star destination. Kohler, a maker of products, is now a maker of experiences. Experiences begin to shape our commitment to art and nature. Through the Arts Industry Program, artists set up shop in our factories, exploring the edge between art and industry. And the Kohler Forest contributes to China's reforestation efforts with over 90,000 trees planted by Kohler associates. A fourth generation with a global vision is the future of this legacy. The world is still a canvas for innovation, but with more voices, diverse voices, offering meaningful solutions. And now in the heart of gracious beats innovation for good. We pool the skills, expertise, and passion of associates from across the company and dive deep into some of the world's most pressing issues. While taking bold strides toward net positive, we're discovering ways to truly make a difference. Waste Lab asks, what if instead of waste, we saw possibility in the process? Kohler Clarity brings safe water to those without. Building on the past, Kohler shines a light forward for architects and designers from LA to Delhi, Shanghai to Sao Paulo, who choose our kitchen and bath products to design smart, intuitive living spaces. We operate one of the largest power businesses in the world, building small engines, along with residential, marine, and industrial generators able to run hospitals and data centers, responding with portable power when disaster strikes, and investing in renewable energy. We're sharing our love of community and well-being, opening resorts and wellness destinations, and hosting more than 6 golf majors in the last 18 years, with the 7th, the 2020 Ryder Cup, on the horizon. And extending the good we can do, we're partnering with organizations like the Gates Foundation and Manchester United, and aligning with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Little did John Michael know, In setting out to manufacture the best goods that ingenuity and money could produce, his idea would ignite a century of progress, revolutionize the home, and become a global lifestyle brand. Today, 38,000 strong, we carry the torch of passion and ingenuity, sparking new chapters of discovery and lighting the path forward for generations to come.
That's probably one of my favorite newest videos that we have in the lineup, and I think does a really good job of talking about Kohler's history. And I think as we talk through the presentation today, you're going to hear a lot of that history throughout some of the product innovations, design, and the creation of the products that really drive Kohler, especially in the digital showering lineup. We'll talk about things like why Kohler throughout the presentation, why digital overall, and what does that mean for you and your customers, and really dive into the product range and applications, as well as talk about system design and installation. We'll cover a vast variety of products within this mix, but also talk about why it's important for your customers to think about digital, why it's important for you to understand the digital portfolio and how it works within the showering portfolio and the system for your consumers, but also what types of products and pieces can they add and upgrade to really enhance their gracious experience. And along the way, we'll do some things like fault finding, bring in some individual pieces that will help you to specify the product correctly, and also cover some of those contacts and resources at the end. I think it's really important for us when we talk about Kohler showering overall is that we look at different pieces in the lineup, and we look at things like valving platforms and spray experiences and product solutions. And we break this down and showering into these three segments to really speak to the differentiation that Kohler offers. Now, today we're going to speak heavily into valving platforms, specifically the digital portfolio, but we'll also tie in some of the manual products and look at cost comparatives and installations and what does that mean for you. So any of you who are specifying manual showering today and think, hey, digital's scary, I don't really understand it, I kind of shy away because I just don't know. That's okay. We understand that. And that's what this session's all about. And really hands-on experience to help you understand a little bit more. And we'll spend time today talking about each of those sequences on how you can upgrade and why you should upgrade. We'll also cover spray experiences and really why this is important for your consumers. And a lot of times your conversation starts here. They're looking for a great experience. They're looking for the right spray. They're looking for the right force and coverage. And what does that mean in the showering space? And how do they get the best optimized experience for their entire family, for the use that they want, and really personalize the space for them? And then finally, product solutions. Adding things like easy upgrades. A hand shower in the space is always a good idea. And we see that come across the platform, whether it's manual or digital. Adding in things like a slide bar, maybe even lighting, music, and steam for that immersive experience. All of these pieces will come into play and give you the opportunity to expand your customer's experience in that space. As I start off with valving, I don't want to forget about the great platform that we have overall. And I just wanted to highlight that here, all the way from our pressure balance units, the 5 GPM, that standard shower, bath shower combination that we see in majority of residential homes today, through our high flow valve, which is the third picture on the bottom, that gives you that higher flow, typically used for the beginning of custom showering and bath fill applications, to our master shower 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch thermostatic valves, which you see in the middle of the screen, giving you that 11 to 17 gallon per minute showering experience and really customized shower applications, all the way through the digital platforms, where we're going to talk heavily about today, showcasing the DTV Prompt and the DTV Plus digital valves. Kohler offers a variety of different options, but gives you the flexibility to give your customers everything they need across the board in any application. And we're going to walk through some key pieces today. But showering overall, it's not just about getting clean anymore. There's not just a standard, I get in the shower, I take a shower in the morning, I'm done, that's my only shower of the day. People are looking to utilize that showering space in different ways. They have different schedules. People are, for better sense of the term, burning the candle at both ends these days, working long hours, especially in the environment today, where they're flexing their schedule. They may be working a little bit in the morning, maybe working later at night, and flexing that family need to help out, to cover everybody in the space. Maybe there's multiple people using that shower, and they have to flex their water usage. But there's also opportunities to really talk about multiple outlets of delivery and what type of experiences that will give your customers. How does that relate and what is the best experience? And also creating intuitive, really, systems that will give you integrated control throughout different manual or digital applications. What's the best for your customer? How can they utilize it today and how do they upgrade in the future? With keeping in mind that we're all thinking about, our space and how do we live in our homes longer? What does that mean for us and how do we create a healthy and more, wellness solution-based spa type oasis experience in our own home that really customizes that experience for us? And tying in those legislative and social pressures, really understanding code regulations and water usage and being, conservative throughout the products that we utilize. And we're going to cover all of that today. But the most important part for customers today is really customization. We see a lot more people taking out bathtubs and adding in larger showering spaces, dual showering spaces, and utilizing that space differently than they ever have before. And we see a lot more people expanding the bathroom space to be that oasis. But they're also looking to take that hardware off the wall, get a clean aesthetic, make it simplified, easy to use, and a really great look. More clean style, more modern-esque showers these days with additional storage and really simplicity. But also, again, keeping that total control for the end user who's ever using that space. And again, thinking about that health and wellness. The biggest bullet we hear a lot is, I think digital is just way more expensive than manual. And I get that question a lot. And we're going to show you some applications today where we're going to show you that digital is actually more affordable and can be more efficient for the end user and for yourselves. Some really great experiences. But at the end of the day, it is all about that. It's about the experience. It's about making my showering space all about me, customizing it for the needs and the personalization for myself and my family. And I think you'll agree when you get to the end of the presentation, you have some really great new examples to talk to your customers about. This is our newest video, and I think this highlights digital showering and the way we're going in the market today. One new video to really talk about digital showering, and we're going to talk about all three platforms today. But again, touching on things that really matter to the consumer, and this is based on research, the next couple slides, on feedback that we've received. Our consumers are asking for that clean, contemporary look. They're asking for unique functionality and features that set their shower apart from everybody else. They want to have that thermostatic control. They're thinking about safety for the family and what type of pieces can we include in the portfolio that are going to help them set the right temperature, hold the right temperature, and give the experience that they're looking for with that control at the touch of a finger. And of course, thinking about all areas of the country, we also have eco options available in all of our portfolios. From an installer perspective, we always like to get the understanding of what our installers are looking for, what makes their job easier. And of course, they want to make it simplified to install. They want to reduce the number of components and materials because if they have everything they need, they can do the job, they can get in and out and get the job done quickly. and they want to make sure that it's going to be a great showering experience for the consumer. It also brings back that look on them, and they are the experts, and the customers are looking for them and looking for any of the showroom folks to specify the right shower, install it, and make it operate just the way they want it. You also want to make sure that we have greater flexibility in applications. And I think through the portfolio today, you're going to see the vast array of options that you have to give your customers exactly what they're looking for and make a better margin opportunity, whether it's someone in the showroom who's able to upsell additional pieces and products because of the cost perspectives that the digital portfolio provides from Kohler and opportunities, but also the experience that it provides within some of the applications. And from an installer perspective, we're going to cover how this is easier for you to install and save additional dollars when you're out on the job site and really installation time. And the key important part for all of you is, how do you differentiate yourself from everybody else? It's hard to sell the same thing to everybody else because it comes all about price. And we're going to show you all about experiences, different product applications, and we'll talk about price all in one to help you win those specifications. So I wanted to start out with the portfolio first, giving you a glimpse of what this looks like. And you saw a brief kind of few slides in the video talking about each of the portfolios. Our newest DTV Mode launched at the end of 2019. If you haven't seen this, it's a phenomenal portfolio. It's taken off really, really well. It's super easy to use, and we're going to cover just how simple that is and how it works and the functionality. But it gives us the ability to have a manual feels-like control for our digital 2-port valve. It is a 2-outlet system with one interface, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, but gives you that maximum 13 GPM total flow and ability for a remote on-off start with some Bluetooth capability. DTV Prompt 2-outlet and 3-outlet has been on the market for quite a while. It's giving us the opportunity to have that touch button control with an easy-to-use LCD screen interface, still utilizing that 2-port valve that we use on the DTV Mode, and also a 3-port valve, giving you more flexibility and more outlet options overall. And then, of course, DTV Plus, our most advanced showering portfolio on the market, and where we're going to spend a lot more time today in conversation, really speaking to the ability to go from that mode, which is one interface, prompt, which gives you the ability for 2 interfaces, to now have up to 3 interfaces in the showering space, and also utilizing 1 or 2 valves in any combination of our 2, 3, and 6-port valve, really maximizing the space, giving your customers everything they need and more. And we'll talk about dual shower options. We'll talk about spa experiences and all of the other pieces that can play into this with the universal control for all things: lighting, music, steam, connected technology, and more. So as we dive into this, one key application that I like to point out is that digital showering is great for any application, whether it's a simple shower application, a bath shower, or just that bath fill alone. We have great opportunities to use the portfolios in front of you to really identify and create the best solution for your customer. So let's dive into each of the portfolios a little bit. And I wanted to start out with DTV Mode. This is our newest portfolio, and if you haven't seen the lineup, I think it's pretty fantastic. This is a feels like mechanical operation. So what does that mean? That means that the interface that you see in front of you, there are 3: a dual shower, a bath shower combination, and a bath only, operate with a simple twist of the individual control. And we'll show you how that works here in a couple slides as well. But making it simple and easy, it's a push button application to turn on or off, and it gives you the flexibility for any of those applications you're looking at. And then there are wall mount and deck mount options depending on the interface you're looking for, as well as that eco option. A couple different configurations, all using that 2-port valve that we'll talk about that works both with the DTV Mode and DTV Prompt. And again, Bluetooth capability. So we'll talk a little bit more about the app. What does that look like? How can you use it and set this up? Pretty easy as well, giving you the flexibility for some additional bath presets along the way. And you'll notice that price, as we talk about price overall, we're going to have a couple pricing slides that really breaks down how easy it is to install and how simple and easy it is to sell this to your customers overall. So one other slide I wanted to show and really start to highlight the conversation is, we talk about manual showering and digital showering. A lot of times customers ask why. And one of the simple pieces is control, flexibility, ease of installation, but also number of components. And as you can look at the screen here, we're showing a manual valve combination setup on the top and a digital valve setup on the bottom. So looking at the application from a manual perspective, we see you're going to have additional components. Looking at options from having, in this setup, if you're having a 2-outlet shower, a pressure balance unit, or maybe in this application, a transfer valve with then 2 trims. So you're looking at 4 components minimum at a manual pressure balance setup. If we go to thermostatic, which we will shortly, you would add additional pieces here as well, versus just 2 simple components for digital, a simple valve and an interface for install. So right off the bat, we've saved you a number of components, and we'll also look at price points here as well to save you cost. Now, why choose digital? Not only from a reduction in components, but also a look. And I think people are looking for a simplistic, clean style in the space, and these 2 images show just that. Really easy for a bath fill application to have a simple control, getting those handles off of that deck, less holes to cut, and making it quicker and easier to install. And from a showering application on the right-hand side, you'll notice we have the interface inside the shower and an optional power button to turn on and off that shower on the outside, keeping it clean, simple, and easy to use. And DTV Mode, DTV Prompt, and DTV Plus can be easy to install. They can be simplified and a really clean look for the space. So what does that mean from an interface installation? And we got a couple questions about how does this new interface install compared to our other interfaces? So for DTV Mode, there is a cable that comes with our interface along with our DTV Prompt. That's the large cable on the right-hand side. It's a 20-foot cable. It's a simple RJ11 telephone cable. It's a crossover cable. So benefit there is that this is a standard cable you can pick up off the shelf. So if someone's looking to do an installation early on and run their cabling in the wall, and maybe they don't have that interface, they can simply install that with a RJ11 crossover cable for the exact length they need. So this is going to be included in the box. With DTV Mode, you'll also have 1 additional cable to make sure that connection happens. That's what you'll see in the top picture. So you have the interface, the connector cable from the interface to the overall 20-foot cable and the coupler that combines. So the bottom picture just shows those completely put together. One of the things I always recommend, whether you use any one of our platforms, is that when you do install the cable in the wall, there's a mounting bracket for each of our applications. Simple tie of a string onto that cable that's in the wall and onto the mounting bracket will ensure that if that would ever come off, someone removes the interface, pulls that out, and the cable disconnects for whatever reason, they can simply pull that string, pull the cable back up, and it's easy to reconnect that. Also recommend taping those connections in the wall, just an easier way for that to be, removed from the wall if you need to. Pretty simple. And the remote on-off power button that you see at the bottom will connect in the exact same way. It will have an adapter cable, as you see in the top middle of the screen, and that same 20-foot cable as well. So pretty quick and easy, whether you do a DTV Mode or DTV Prompt. DTV Prompt would simply be the interface and the 20-foot cable. DTV Mode gives us the ability to have Bluetooth capability. So adding in a new portfolio that's manual controlled means you're going to have 1 interface for control. That optional power button gives you the on-off control, but in any application, just like a manual shower today, you can't have 2 on-off controls in the shower. You may have a temperature and then volume control for individual components. So what we wanted to do is look at capability to add Bluetooth to this lineup. And that's going to give us functionality for a couple different things. Turning on and off your shower. As you noticed on the interface before, it went from cold to hot, and we'll look at this a little more in depth as well. So it doesn't give you a digital temperature readout like our other portfolios do in DTV Prompt and DTV Plus. So we wanted to be able to showcase what that temperature really is, because I think this is one of the key things when we talk about digital showering and people ask, I want the shower hotter, I want it hotter, it's not hot enough. People really don't know what that temperature is until they actually see it digitally. And typically when I see people saying, I want it super hot, when they actually have a digital shower, they actually reduce that temperature. And I've seen on average between 5 and 7 degrees. So we'll talk a little bit more about temperature and what that means specifically in a little bit further down the line, tied to some of our other showering applications in coordination with tankless heaters. But the DTV Mode app also gives us flexibility to create user presets, set maximum temperatures, shower duration or duration timers, and Fahrenheit and Celsius options as well. It also gives you the flexibility to start your shower. So when you do walk into the house, you're on your home network, you can actually turn that on, get the shower warmed up, purge that cold water, and you're also going to receive push notifications to your phone. Easy to use and simplified. This app makes it really easy to set up. It's a simple Bluetooth connection. You can simply turn it on, search for the Bluetooth, connect up, and you're pretty well set right off the bat. You can see user screen's pretty easy to use. You can create some new presets pretty quick and easy just by hitting the plus sign. And then you get some additional feature sets. Whether you want to set your maximum and your minimum temperature, do you want to set up your outlets so you can decide which one purges if you have more than one, if you're doing a dual shower option. And there's also an opportunity to have a standby light. And we'll talk about what that means here on the interface and show you that as well. But you have the functionality to really create just what you want. So these slides show you kind of that max and min temperature set. You can set shower durations. You have that great timer functionality. You can select your outlets for purge and warm up, and also, which way you want your shower to work. So it makes it very simple and easy to use. And finally, you can name your bathroom. I think this is really important, especially as we see more of these being used. We're seeing consumers put multiple systems in their home and multiple bathrooms. So they can name each bathroom so someone's connecting to the right bathroom for their device, making it simple and easy. I think the biggest part we get when we talk about digital and we kind of walk through this and they think technology and it's Bluetooth and it's capable and they can control things from their phone is how much does it cost? So I wanted to bring this up front right away and talk about costing overall. This is pretty important for us, especially in the realm of how we talk about the product overall. As we talked about product in a manual setup with pressure balance earlier, we talked about just 4 components, simplistic and easy. But when we do an apples to apples comparison from a digital thermostatic valve that you see at the top, that's our DTV, to a thermostatic manual system shown on the bottom, you'll see that we have 2 components on the top, the interface and the valve, versus 4 on the bottom. So you're going to have a thermostatic valve and then an individual volume control for each of those outlets, plus the trim. Now this means not only that you have a higher cost point for the manual valve, you can see that the digital application here is $177 cheaper than the manual installation alone. But also from an installer perspective, our installers tell us it takes them between 50 to 60% less install time to do a digital system than it is to do a manual system. So based on your hourly rate of labor in the market, here in Wisconsin, we're about $125 to $150 an hour. Even if I take a simple 2-hour installation, $300 cost savings right off the bat. So great way to save money on product and installation overall. DTV Prompt gives us flexibility to go to the next level. So from that 1 manual interface all the way up to 2, we have the flexibility to then say, hey, we can do a push button application. We can look at an LCD screen that gives us time, temperature, and gives us additional functionality from a 2-outlet or 3-outlet capability. The 2-outlet shown on the top with center button gives you the ability for individual or shared control. The 3-outlet on the right side on the top gives you independent control. So 1, 2, or 3, and you can operate those independently or as a shared option. So you can have any of those on at a time that you want. Some great functions here, a pause feature, so you can pause your shower when you need to. And I think this is important for anyone who has young kids or pets and they're helping to get them showered or cleaning them up. You can pause that shower as you need to, start that back up, and you'll have that temperature right where you want it. That timer functionality happens to be my favorite in this lineup because I set the timer for 10 minutes in my house. My kids get a 10-minute shower, and that means that the shower will shut off after 10 minutes of use. It'll give them a 2-minute beep warning at 8 minutes, so they know that they got to finish up, and it's helping them to learn about saving water and being conscious-minded about what they're doing in the space and how much water they're using. It also is great for flexibility and applications for tub fill applications, and we use this in our house as well. Standard tub in our house takes about 8 minutes to fill. Standing there swirling the water with a manual installation. So with digital, I can set the timer for 8 minutes. I know my temperature for our tub, 105, 106 degrees. I can close the drain, turn it, and when I come back, I can walk away. The system is going to shut off after that 8 minutes. It's not going to overflow because I've done a pre-fill. I know how long it takes, and it's going to give me the right application, the right temperature every single time, with additional options for the interfaces and different mounting bracket finishes as well. DTV Prompt and DTV mode, use the 2-port digital valve shown on the left. These are 13 gallon per minute valve. We operate all of our systems at 45 PSI. So great opportunity. I know we get that question a lot is, I need more pressure. It has to operate higher. Actually, all of our valves operated in an optimal 45 PSI for consistency across the board. And you get a max 8 GPM out of one outlet. That would be outlet number 1. So if you're thinking about a tub fill or multiple outlet combination, this is where you would pair those and tie those together with a pressure balance option. If you're only using a tub fill, for instance, you could tie outlet 1 and 2 together and get the full 13 GPM flow. So you'd have a really great tub fill application. These are 1/2-inch lines, they're copper connections, and as you can see, they're already stubbed, ready to go, but they're easy to spin off, make that connection, spin back on, and easy to operate for the installer, as well as for any of those installations where you need to go and clean the screens out after a while if you have hard water like we do in Wisconsin. So every year I go and I clean my system, simply depressurize, spin those off, take a toothbrush and clean the screens out, rinse that area, put it back together, repressurize the system, and I'm on my way. So really quick and easy. And these install simplistically in a 2x4 wall or many applications, and we'll show you a couple pictures here. Key here on this application, on the image on the right on the 3-port, you can see the 2 blue plugs on the top right side. Those will pop out. Your installation of your interfaces will go. We'll click there. That's where your installation connections are. So DTV Prompt will give you up to 2 connections. If you're using the 2-port valve for mode, you'd have 1 interface plus the power button. For DTV Prompt, you can have up to 2 of the prompt interfaces or 1 prompt and 1 power button. So it gives you flexibility. So how do you choose between each of the portfolios? So DTV Mode on the left, a 2-outlet. DTV Prompt on the right is also a 2-outlet. But DTV Prompt has a 3-outlet option as well. Manual control on the left versus digital control on the right. The left side will give you a backlit application where the ring is toward the back of the interface. It will go from cold to hot with numbers in between. So it will set your specific number. On your Bluetooth application, you'll be able to see what that temperature readout is. On digital, you'll see that readout directly on the interface and gives you the timer functionality right there. Both have the pause or the purge option, and you can pause your shower pretty quick and easy. But additional features here, you can do up to 10 presets on that mode application. There is 1 default preset on DTV Prompt. We also get some individual questions that I think are pretty relevant to the space as people begin to start getting into, from manual to digital showering. What can I do with digital? How can I expand that? How can I give myself the most capable flex with the system and get the best out of it I can? So what mechanical valves can pair with digital? And this is a common question we get a lot of times. You can pair transfer and diverter valves with a digital system because they will not act as a non-positive shutoff. Volume controls cannot be used with a digital valve. That would put back pressure onto the system, create issues overall, and you cannot use an additional pressure balance valve. So if you're looking to add that 3rd outlet or additional flexibility, you could add a transfer or diverter to flex those out, or you can add something like our Hydro Rail or our shower arm diverter to give that flexibility off of the 2-outlet system. In this application, for example, too, we're just showcasing how that transfer and diverter valve works. So using a DTV Prompt system, one of the outlets, our outlet 1's going to the tub fill for your max flow. Outlet 2 is going to that transfer or diverter valve. So you have flexibility between a hand shower and shower head, and then options here with an individual outlet to the rain head. So giving you that 4th outlet, even with a 3-outlet valve. So flexibility that you can offer utilizing those valves in combination. From an installation standpoint, this is one that we get a lot, and questions about, can I see behind the wall? What does the plumbing look like? And our consumers want to understand what they have to specify. And for the showroom teams and the specifiers, what's going to be behind the wall? Where do I have to place things? And from an installer perspective, how much room do I have? Where can this valve be? What do I have to think about in this application? So I have 3 different applications here: a manual pressure balance valve on the left. So whether that's our 5-gallon or 13 gallon per minute high flow, you'd have that option here on the left-hand side going to a transfer or diverter valve. So you can have individual or shared functionality. In the middle, a mechanical thermostatic. So you'd have a thermostatic valve with independent volume controls to turn on or off those outlets for the shower head and hand shower. And then the 3rd application on the right for DTV Prompt. Quick and easy, single run to each outlet. with digital control. And our installers, again, have told us that it takes them 50 to 60% less time to install that digital application on the right-hand side versus the manual pressure balance and thermostatic options. From a cost point on DTV Prompt, we can show also an additional cost savings, even at the next level. So going from DTV Mode all the way to DTV Prompt, you can still save at a 2-outlet application almost $65 just on product alone. So again, saving that cost on product and installation right out of the gate. From a additional perspective here, even if I go, that was at a Pierce level, even if I go down to a Devonshire level, kind of that more cost comparative, I'm still saving money even at the more cost-effective option for the market. So about $18 to $20 here, cost savings. When I look at a 3-outlet option, same type of installation, but again, now you're adding another outlet, another run, additional components and valves. And for a manual installation, you also have to think about this as a 2-step process. The manual valve is being installed in the wall. The installer has to think about the depth and installation. What does that finished wall material look like? And are they setting that depth correctly? If it happens to change the wall material at any point, the thickness maybe gets a little larger, there may be installation issues that have to be adjusted before that finish trim can be put on, which is the second step. So the installer will be forced to come back to do a secondary finish work, put those trims back on, additional time and additional visit to the job site versus a digital installation, which can be installed. The valve can be put just about anywhere and run directly to those components. The interface, the cable can be placed in the wall. It can be left out, covered up with tape until you need to install that mounting bracket and interface. Pretty quick and easy. From a cost perspective here on a 3-port, slightly more expensive, but again, looking at time, you're adding another hour and a half to do that additional installation. Typically, our installers tell us for that additional outlet and component run. So add that cost perspective in, even at $72, I'm saving way more money putting this in. At a Pierce level and even at a Devonshire level, just under $200 with a 3-outlet installation. That's probably about $450 or more installation cost. We also hear that install and cost for digital valves typically is also increased, or an additional fee is charged for a digital application. So additional cost savings here for you from a manual setup. Common question we get on our valves is how can they be installed and where? There are some mounting installations that give us vertical and horizontal applications to install them correctly. So they can be installed in the vertical application you see on the left, or the horizontal that you can see with it sitting horizontally, or up in a ceiling mount the other way. So pretty quick and easy, and I'll show you what an image of that looks like as well upcoming. But do not install in the bottom 2 left images in a vertical port with ports pointing up, or the inlets below the outlets. So looking at those 2 applications, you have the ability to potentially add in air pockets, which can form and trap and cause some temperature fluctuation. So there are some applications, there are stickers right on the valve to install these correctly. But all of our digital valves are easy to install just about everywhere. They can be installed in a stud wall, in an adjoining closet, in an attic if appropriately insulated, or having the right ambient temperature. There are some installation guides with ambient temperature ratings for you to follow, depending on parts of the country. I would not put a digital valve in the attic here in Wisconsin. Maybe in a basement or inside a bath cavity. But I think the key part to any of these applications, it does not need to be right behind the wall where your manual valve is today. So options for you to put this valve just about anywhere, and really makes it flexible from an installation standpoint. And one of my favorite questions that typically comes up somewhere in this range, maybe a little bit later in the conversation, is what happens if my power goes out? So we do a pretty good job about offering opportunities to ensure that your shower is working and operating effectively. One of the key things we talk about is your digital valves need to be plugged into a GFCI outlet for each valve, but also if the power does go out, Kohler does sell home whole generator systems. So an opportunity to back up that overall home with a Kohler generator. And if that's not an option for you, there are easier, more cost-effective ways to help in just about any application. And that would be a battery backup, or a UPS unit, which is called an uninterruptible power supply. These typically range about $40 to $45 in market. Pretty easy to install. They simply plug into your GFCI outlet, and then your valves and components plug directly into that. There are power and surge protection options as well. So you have the opportunity for additional showering time. And from some of the research we've done and cost comparatives, I mean, $40 is pretty reasonable, pretty cheap. Pick it up just about anywhere. And our installation is easy. The time savings that allows you with some of these units, and you see a 425 volt amp unit here, are great. We tested a 350 volt amp unit back in 2016. We were able to get an hour of runtime on our 3 outlet systems at 100-degree temperature. So if you used our 3-port, great, you have an hour of runtime. You probably don't have that much water or hot water saved up if your power does go out. Additionally, if it's a 6-port, you get that 30 minutes, so double the outlets, half the time. You still have a great shower experience. We always recommend having a potential backup, meaning that secondary mechanical shower somewhere in the house. So what does that mean? It also means that there are things to think about when you're kind of getting these systems set up. So some electrical requirements shown here with the GFCI outlets. You may notice some of these are residual current devices that were called out in a different manner. So either one of those work. Thermostatic valves are 120 volt, 15 amp, 60 hertz. So easy to use, standard plug-in, 3-prong outlets. And really capability here from installation standpoint we talked about earlier, just kind of thinking about what comes in the box with the interfaces and our valves. The cables for the overall connection to that valve do come with the interface for DTV Prompt and Mode. And for DTV Plus, the cable, depending on how you order it, will come with the valve. So thinking about that ahead of time gives you the opportunity to plan out your installations and also how you wire these things up and get them ready. Making sure you have flexibility and applications to easily access any of these components. So to show you some of those applications and installations, I wanted to show you a couple different images. So from a metal structure to a framed structure in some of our display units, very simple and easy to use, running not only PEX and CPVC and copper connections. We recommend also having water hammer arresters, which you'll see in both of these pictures, to reduce that hammer effect. So any high acting or high flow valves, we require or recommend to have water hammer arresters. By code in a lot of applications, this is required, as well as shut off valves. So making sure that you have those close to the valve so they're easy to take out, shut off and service if you ever need to. From a digital application in a 2x4 stud wall, 16 inch center and 24. So you have an opportunity to showcase how easy that is to install on a wall, shown here in both applications using the 2 and 3-port installation. And from a commercial standpoint or hospitality, we get a lot of these questions about, can I use this in a hospitality application? And the answer is absolutely yes. So the picture you see on the left happens to be a kind of rough in as we started the build out process of Lodge Kohler, which is our newest hotel 1 hour north of Kohler, Wisconsin, located right across the street from Lambeau Field in Green Bay. This application has 144 digital showers in the entire space. All of those digital valves are mounted in that horizontal application, as you see on the left-hand side, in the ceiling going down the hallway. So none of these valves are interrupting the consumer experience. They're easy to access. They have the water hammer arrester shutoffs and also their individual GFCI power supply. So very quick and simple, easy for anyone to maintain any of those systems. And from additional applications, we just wanted to showcase some of the other things we've done with some PEX, some connections to showcase the valve at some of our KBIS shows, and also tying this into adding in things like music and Steam. So really giving the flexibility even at the most basic setups for easy applications and upgrades. So this is probably Amy's favorite question I get quite a bit, and a lot more across the country, is what about tankless? We hear a lot of systems and people installing tankless systems overall. And I'm happy to say we've got some great partnerships with Rinnai. We have a couple of great former coworkers who are now working at Rinnai, as well as our former VP of sales, who's now the GM for Rinnai. And we have a great partnership to talk about how tankless systems and digital shower applications work together. And the answer is yes, they can be utilized together to give a great operation for the overall space. But there are some things to think about. And we've coordinated to put a couple of these together in the next 2 slides to talk about key things to think about before you put a tankless system into a application with a digital shower. So first of all is really understanding the sizing of your overall system. And thinking about it correctly, do it right the first time. Tends to cost a little bit more if you have to go back and redo this over and over. So having those conversations up front with your installer to really have the right application, understanding the total GPM flow, not only for the shower, but for the whole house. What else is being used? Dishwashers, washer dryers, multiple bathrooms, kitchen sinks. How much total GPM flow is going to be needed for that entire space? And then looking at the tankless units, understanding if a single tankless or multiple tankless are needed, maybe tankless with storage or demand dual units that have tankless units mounted on the side of a standard tank. Better in colder climates, give you more control, larger units with more overall water for longer durations of usage, whether it is for the shower or for the entire home. And of course, there's some commercial units or multiple units as well. And that's just one piece to the puzzle, and really understanding that is your first step to understanding the needs for the whole house. But there's also things like inlet groundwater temperature will affect your total GPM flow. And we'll look at some charts to showcase what that means and understanding the delta T flow curve and how that adjusts based on your inlet water temperature, and some pressure loss to think about here as well. So space considerations for overall tankless. You have to think about, if I'm going to have one or multiple tanks, where am I going to place it? And do I have the space to do so, especially based on the total GPM flow that's needed? And as we look at systems, whether it's tank or tankless, we talk about running them. You may hear, do I run it in parallel? Do I run it in sequence? Optimal is to run it in parallel, because you get running of both systems. You get the total flow that doubles that flow out of both units, whether they're tankless or tank, versus sequence, which is running one tank out completely or tankless, and then going to the next if you have a sub tank there as well. So even in my own home, I have two tank systems. I run them in parallel. Tankless, that is also the better option. Now, Renai uses natural gas and propane, so understanding the sizing of the appropriate units and the right inlet lines, so you have the right gas lines. Plan ahead. This could be costly, especially in remodel applications, depending on the length and run of your plumbing, and also ventilation for those. And temperature settings. This is a common question we get a lot. I want it hotter, hotter, hotter. How hot can it be? And even in our coordination with Renai and testing in the labs that they do on their facility and at ours, digital showers are recommended, and especially for Kohler, no more than 120 degrees Fahrenheit. You may see 120 to 125. And we know that tankless systems can run to 145, or even commercial applications up to 185. But directly from Renai, they're saying, look, even in our labs, and we test this out, Matt over at Renai is a great engineer we work with directly, and he said 108 degrees, anything over that will start to cause burns over time. And we highly recommend our consumers are using the right temperature and thinking about that directly, setting the max temperature accordingly for those users and being cognizant of that as well. The next slide really breaks down kind of the scenario into our digital portfolio and specifications for using a Renai tankless system with a Kohler digital shower. So Matt put together some comps here to look at what the best scenario is for each situation. And they flex a little bit based on the unit that you have, but for their unit specifically to achieve that 13 GPM flow, a DTV Mode or DTV Prompt system, he's looking at 10.1 GPM of 120 degree water, meaning he needs two RU199 tankless units. Thinking about giving you the most optimal performance, consistency, and having the water for the longevity of that showering experience. But also thinking about the lines. You have to ensure that you have the right water inlet lines coming into the home. So looking at this, planning ahead, 1/2-inch lines are great for our showering experiences and for the valve connections, but they're looking to have 3/4-inch lines or larger to provide that 10 GPM, especially when you start using PEX lines with a reduced interior diameter of those PEX tubes. So having that option, make sure you have the right connections. To achieve the 21 GPM, which we're going to talk about for DTV Plus with a single 6-port valve, you would need up to 3 of the RU199 tankless units. And again, looking at that from a GPM flow, giving that 16.3 GPM of 120 degree water. And the key here is that you need hot and cold water mix for both of these systems. The remaining water supply is going to come from that cold. So you have that complete mix going together to give you that full capable 21 GPM. And from a 42 GPM, looking at having 2 6-port valves, our largest application, recommendation from Renai is to have their new demand dual unit that's been out on the market for about 3 years, 4 years now, Supplies 40 gallons of water plus 119, 120 gallon storage tank, shown here in applications of single or tandem units, depending on the application. And in the third, you can even see up to 3, typically we see in commercial applications. Benefits here, having the right connections, you're going to gain that 119 gallon storage, 120 gallon storage. You're going to have 315 gallons per hour for the first hour of usage, with a recovery rate of 231 gallons at 100 degrees Fahrenheit with your delta T curve. So some great opportunities here to add tankless shower application combinations for your consumers. And just to note that still today, 90% of the consumer commercial market use tank systems over tankless. So this is a benefit to Rinnai offering this as well. So great partnership with them in providing some of this information as we work together to help out our customers. From a temperature map, we look at the country. This you can find just about anywhere on the internet. Groundwater temperature plays a key part in your tankless systems, and understanding what your total flow is going to be is very important for when these are installed. So this map, pretty easy, hopefully to read, kind of looking at average groundwater temperatures. I'm here in Wisconsin. We're in that 40-degree range typically. We may hit right around 50s. So we have some variations in temperature, but based on where you are in the country, that will play effect into your overall GPM flow. So this chart really showcases what that actually means. So from a tankless system, looking at the RU80 or RU98, so 8 gallons a minute, 9.8 gallons per minute, a couple of the units from Rinnai. Pretty quick and easy on the left-hand side for the total GPM flow. Bottom is your delta T or temperature rise. So understanding here in Wisconsin, per se, we are at, let's just say, a 40-degree inlet water temperature. Typical systems, 120, 130 for a tankless unit. There's that 20 to 30 degree range, and you can see here right around that 30, 35 degree range for the Rinnai units at 8 and up to that 9.8 GPM before the water kind of, that temperature drops a little bit. So that means that you have that delta of about 20 to 30 degree range in variation of your inlet groundwater temperature to get your max flow. So doing the math a little bit here, if I say the average temperature, let's say it's 130 degree tank, I'm going to, for a tankless unit, 120. If I take a 40 degree temperature difference, even at 120 max temperature for a Kohler digital valve, that means I have to have groundwater inlet temperature of that 85 to 90 degree range inlet water temperature. So that's going to put me at a 40 to 50 degree temperature difference. Because of that, my temperature is going to drop, and I'm going to have a reduced flow, inlet flow, and you're going to start to see that drop down to the 5s, to the 4s, to the 3 GPMs, depending on how cold that water inlet temperature gets. So what does that rise? How much does that temperature have to increase in order to meet that inlet temperature flow? Will give you that variation in GPM flow. So as your inlet groundwater temperature is colder, you're going to get less hot water or less total flow overall. So based on your market, this is something to have a conversation for installation. Now, one of our coworkers down at our Coleman Russell group does a really great job, Tony, kind of gave us an application of his home, and he utilizes a couple tankless systems. So I utilize this and thank Tony for his time to share what he does in his own home. Some great showering opportunities here with 4 body sprays, 2 shower heads, a rain head, and a handheld. Each component at 2.5 GPM for a total of 20 GPM total flow. With that, he utilizes 299,000 BTU tankless units. He has a higher groundwater temperature, which gives him, an easier application to get his hot water up, and also make sure he has a longer showering duration. So he's understanding the temperature rise, difference between that groundwater temperature and the set point on his heater. His groundwater temperature is about 65 degrees. His tankless heater is at 120. Gives him a 55 degree temperature rise. So he's calculating what that means, and really the best optimal unit for him was at RUC98i, and this is what he put in. He's had this for quite a few years, so that gave him at the time 7 GPM, 120 degree water, and he has 2 units together working in combination, again, adding in some of that cool water for that overall mix, giving him the total flow that he needs for the 20 GPM. And even flexing that system to run everything he needs in this entire house. So this can be run effectively and efficiently if you do it right and have those conversations up front. So I want to make sure that we covered a little bit of that today, because that is one of the most common questions we get as we see more tankless systems being used across the country. All right, I know we've covered a lot of material already, and I know we've got quite a few people joining in here as well. So we'll definitely tie in some additional questions if you have those, but wanted to cover some of the individual setups and what does this mean for you? So how do we operate our systems effectively? DTV Mode, we talked about, pretty quick and easy with applications for Bluetooth capability, an easy setup of everything on the app. And from a DTV Prompt perspective, pretty quick and easy here to install and then also set up from your interface. These instructions are included with all of our interfaces, pretty simple and easy to use. Pushing the power button and the hot button or the up arrow brings you into a program setting, and that allows you to adjust between 11 or there's 12 total programs now that you can have flexibility to adjust the time, the temperature, whether you want this to be a timer setting for duration, or setting the min and max temperature, pretty quick and easy. And each one of these applications makes it pretty simple. We give you direct step-by-step walkthrough in each of the pages. And I typically take about 20 to 30 seconds to set my max temperature when I do this. It's pretty quick and easy, and anybody can do this. So when you have applications at home, maybe, my mom's coming over, or my grandma's coming over, and some of the younger grandkids are around. If they're in the space, I want to, reduce that overall temperature. I can do that pretty quick and easy, and have that high temp maybe set at 100, 102, 104 for a max to keep that, protective for anyone so they don't get scalded as well, not putting the temperature up too high. Pretty quick and easy to use, simple for any application. But I think as we covered a lot today, we covered a lot of installation. We covered talking about reducing components and materials. We talked about greater flexibility in applications, and also cost perspectives and margin opportunities. And I think so far we've pretty much set you apart from just about anyone else doing a manual system today. And benefit to Kohler, nobody else in the portfolio in the market has anything like what we have in total comparison. So having 3 different digital systems to give you flexibility really brings us all the way up to DTV Plus. And the benefit to our portfolio is you can upgrade along the way. From a DTV Mode to a DTV Prompt all the way to DTV Plus, you can utilize those valves and some of the other components as we add on into your customer experience. You're not buying a brand new system every single time. So this gives us flexibility to continue to upgrade the system overall. DTV Plus happens to be our most advanced showering portfolio and really takes us to that next step. And I think what's important about this portfolio, again, reducing the number of total components that you see when you're starting to look at manual valve installation, all that hardware on the top of the wall, trying to control everything in the right application, or a simple, easy touchscreen interface and application. Now, there are some additional components that are needed, and we're going to talk about each one of those as well. For 2 different applications, the 4 outlet we just showed, or the 6 outlet here, again, looking at the number of hardware pieces you have to put on the wall, all those additional trims to control that same manual showering experience as you would with digital and an easy touchscreen application. Really, that cost savings alone, just in products, is going to be substantial. And again, looking at the portfolio, a great lineup that nobody else matches in the marketplace today. So opportunity for you to increase your opportunities with your customers, give them the most basic, comprehensive, easy to use to our DTV Prompt and all the way to DTV Plus. So let's talk about DTV Plus and let's really understand what that means today. Here's a great video about what is DTV Plus.
When you take a shower, where does your shower take you? The DTV Plus digital showering platform from Kohler will take you worlds away, all at a simple touch. DTV Plus is Kohler's most advanced digital showering system. It brings water, music, steam, and light together for a true multi-sensory showering experience. Your entire showering experience is customizable. You choose the components. From rain heads to shower heads to hand showers to body sprays, all controlled by a touchscreen. DTV Plus is also available with pre-programmed spa experiences. Each set of experiences was scripted according to specific hydrotherapies to help cleanse both the body and the mind. The DTV Plus digital showering platform, There's nothing quite like it for your home. And it's only from Kohler.
As Amy mentioned before, I speak a lot to digital, a lot to DTV Plus, and I spend a lot of time going around the country or the past 3 years really training on digital. We've seen an increase every year over year over year on digital showering, and more people with smart home technology and additional applications are getting into the more techie products. Even as maybe we get a little older, we see people moving into new homes, and a lot of these things are ingrained into the product portfolio of the house already. And I think DTV Plus gives us that flexibility to really showcase the best possible opportunity in the bathroom and the showering space with our touchscreen application. And we get a lot of questions about how this operates and how easy it is to use. And I reference everyone pretty much these days has a smartphone, and your smart home is pretty quick and easy. It's a capacitive touchscreen glass that can operate pretty fast. One of the things we did in our research was understand with that same type of technology how that works in a showering space. And we understood that you need to have a little bit more pressure on that interface to use while it's wet. And just to give you an indication, I know people often tell me I can't use my phone, my fingers are wet, or I'm out in the rain and I have to dry it off before I utilize my smartphone. Benefit to DTV Plus is the interface is meant to be used in a wet application. So pressure sensitivity is set, so you press the individual interface to control your shower, whether it's wet or dry. Gives you a unique flexibility in the space, but also gives you options to have multiple interfaces like we talked about, up to 3 in the space. You have 6 user presets, and you can do additional additions for presets on your Kohler Connect app we'll talk about in a little bit, as well as some unique pre-programmed spa experiences that are already embedded into the portfolio. And it really is enhanced by the way you set up the system. And the ability to control water, sound, lighting, music, overall, steam, and connected technology is going to set your overall experience apart from anything you've had before, and gives you the flexibility for your consumers to give them exactly what they need. So DTV Plus, as I mentioned earlier, does give us the flexibility to use 1 or 2 valves. They can utilize our 2-port or 3-port prompt and mode valve that we saw, the 2-port prompt and mode or the 3-port prompt valve here, as well as our 6-port DTV valve. This gives us opportunities to have individual or multiple valves for single or dual outlet temperature zones. So we can have a shared temperature or independent temperature zones for those dual showering spaces, as well as giving that consistent thermostatic technology and anti-scald protection with that ease of installation we talked about already. Now, I like to show this slide right up front because DTV Plus can be scary for some people, but I want to make it really simple. It can be very, very easy to install and it can give you everything you're looking for, or as simple as you want it to be. So there's 3 sections, left, middle, and right. The left-hand side of the screen gives you the pieces that are required. So with DTV Plus and the ability to control so much more, there is a system controller that is required. So the system controller gives us the ability to have everything plugged into it all at once. So our interfaces, our lighting, our music, our steam, and our valves all plug into that. We can have up to 3 interfaces, 1, 2, or 3 for the space, as well as individual different finishes on the mounting brackets. From there, we can select just about anything we want. Now, we could control everything without actually running water if we wanted to. We could use the controller in the interface and just control music and lighting and steam. But what fun would that be? So we give the opportunity to also operate any of those valves we talked about. And key we talked about early was customers are asking what kind of experience can they have. So we've done a couple things here. There are some preset configurations that will give your customers ability to have home spas, which we'll cover in a few slides. And if you select one of these options, we have layouts for you in our price books this year, last year, and the year prior. Last year's and this year's, so 2019, 2020 books give you some really detailed recipe cards, which we'll also show you, and some diagrams on how this needs to be plumbed. If you follow those plumbing diagrams, your customers automatically get home spa experiences. If you don't, it's a custom setup, and they have just their custom setup with some other great features, some massage capability that they have within the system as well. Now, components, they can put just about anything they want here and really flex that showering experience they want with the right spray experience from any of the components, and then how they want to set it up for a user perspective with the valves. Additional components and add-ons here, everything on the right. So adding in music, adding in lighting, adding in steam, or that connected technology, give the consumer everything they're looking for and really customize and personalize their experience. So I wanted to talk about a couple fun things first. And I think adding music to the space is something just about every one of us does. Probably brings our smartphone into the bathroom, turns on music, maybe plays our playlist, or additional songs we have. Kohler has a great opportunity with our sound tile speakers shown here and our Bluetooth amplifier to play in any space, really connecting via Bluetooth, adding in an opportunity for our smartphone or device or anything that we're streaming to play directly through those sound tile speakers. Now our speakers do come in a pair. You can put them into the space. I have 2 inside my shower, and I actually have 2 in my bathroom ceiling. So I have a total of 4 put together on the system, so I can hear the music and I don't have to turn that volume up really loud from the shower just to hear it in the bathroom space. It gives us flexibility for also to put inlets or inputs. So if I wanted to connect a home audio system, I could do that into that amplifier as well. Pretty quick and easy to use. Adding in lighting is another feature that most people maybe don't think about, and controlling that from the interface. In this slide and the next couple slides, we'll show you how easy that is. So on your interface, if I would add some lighting controls, I could simply control those just using the sliders shown on the right. So turning things on or off, or having a dimmable switch, controlling maybe the vanity lighting or some ambient lighting in the space, or task lighting overall. And from a user experience, that means I may want to use one of these for my on-off switch for my fan. Maybe I forget to turn my fan on when I get in the shower, and then I realize I forgot to turn it on. It's getting pretty steamy. I need to exhaust that moisture. I can simply turn that on from the DTV Plus interface. I can also do the task lighting, make those on or off or dimmable depending on what you select. And in this application, we also use our on-off switch for privacy glass. So just really showing the flexibility. You could also use it for heated towel bar warmers. Now our on-off switch and dimmer, you do see the switch dimmer shown here. Our on-off is a 10 amp. Our dimmable switch is a 2.5 amp option. So you have plenty of flexibility based on the components you connect. The lighting bridge is something that's pretty quick and easy, plugs right to that system controller with a simple Ethernet connection, and that talks wirelessly to the switch or dimmer. And in the bottom image below, you can see that a standard outlet. Pull that on-off switch out of the wall after you've turned the power off, of course. Make sure that you've checked that. Simply take the black and white wires, connect those to the switch or dimmer module. The violet wires shown in the middle will connect back to your switch. Hit the little teardrop button, pair that up with your system, put that back into the wall with power off. Switch to power on and you're all set, and you'll see everything on your interface. Pretty quick and easy to use, and this has been out for about 5.5 years now in the market. So easy to control, up to 3 components in the overall space. Just one more image here on how easy this looks, and I get a lot of questions about, I'm not sure I could fit that into a standard installation. You absolutely can. We just require that you use a non-metal electric box. Shown on the right-hand side, we did a cutaway to show that switch, that overall dimmer or on-off switch, and then the wiring tucked in the back. And the bottom picture shows how we've installed this in our interactive learning center at Kohler with up to 3 electrical components controlling the fan, the overall room, and the vanity lighting. So you have options and flexibility here as well. Easy to do and easy to install. We also offer the capability of having really great steam products from Kohler Invigoration Steam. Benefit to Kohler, all of our units for the last about 5 years now have been installed by Kohler, manufactured by Kohler. We no longer buy these. That was something we did in the past. We partner with another company, and we've been making our own for quite a while now to do a lot of great things. Upgrade the portfolio, upgrade the overall build, the installation, but also provide fast response and power clean with every unit. So fast response means we're going to have steam within 60 seconds. Power clean means we're going to force you to clean your system after 600 minutes of use. And that means the system's going to operate effectively. And having that steam head in the bottom right corner, there's a steam well included, so you can actually add your oils or scents right to that overall system and have a great aromatherapy experience as well. So great opportunity for you to add steam to the overall lineup. Every single one of our units is serviceable on site and has an upgraded temperature sensor to work with DTV Plus and the spa experiences as well. And no adapters are needed either. One great thing about the fast response and power clean is that those applications already added into the price point. Any other competitor in the market, those are typically between $350 and $500, $550 ads. So do your apple to apple comparison, your KW rating with the generator plus those additional costs. And Kohler generators are 15%, 10 to 15% up to cheaper than competitors in the marketplace. So very, very good opportunity for you to add Kohler steam, and integrates well with the DTV Plus interface. Steam's great for a lot of things, moisturizing the skin, respiratory relief, removing toxins from your body, and aches and joints and muscle pain and stress, but also great for stress relief, especially in these days, just kind of having that place to go and soak away and just kind of relax. Great opportunity to add steam to the space. We see this heavily installed and added on in spring and fall seasons. It's also great for warming up the space overall as well, because our Invigoration Steam Series units use approximately 1 gallon of water for every 20-minute cycle. So really, really efficient, great for water savings, and great for your overall space. Steam generators have a great lineup, looks really awesome, 5K to 30 kW generators, as well as single and tandem drain pans, and individual interfaces if you go with a manual control for a manual setup, DTV Mode or DTV Prompt on the left, and a connection for DTV Plus on the right-hand side with a simple adapter. That means you can control everything from the interface. We also have an online and also literature print capability for control measurement and sizing. So length times width times height gives you the flexibility to have the right generator, the right sizing, the right cubic foot rating, and also all of the additional requirements needed to pick the right products for your space. And the online version looks like this. So pretty easy to use. Type everything in, select if it's with DTV Plus or not, select a finish, and we'll provide results to you with a simple click of a button. So great way to add steam to the space. And overall, takes us to DTV Plus.
When you take a shower, where does your shower take you? The pre-programmed spa experiences of DTV Plus take your daily shower ritual to another level. Think of each experience as a playlist for your shower, harnessing the power of water, music, steam, and light to take you worlds away, all at a simple touch. Relaxation experiences target exhausted muscles to de-stress you from the daily grind. Well-being experiences refresh and renew you in a cleansing of body and mind. Energy experiences are an exhilarating way to jumpstart your day. Each experience targets specific parts of the body with different temperatures. The varying temperatures are carefully scripted to provide the most luxurious showering experience possible. The DTV Plus digital showering platform. There's nothing quite like it for your home, and it's only from Kohler.
So a great opportunity to add an additional feature set for your customers into the space, and DTV Plus spa experiences do just that. We focused and worked with our water spa experts to create recognized day spa hydrotherapy experiences that are accredited in the space that target your head, neck, shoulders, back, and really utilize the overall components set in the right installation to deliver water at the right temperature for the right duration of time in sequences that give you hydrotherapy type experiences. And what that means, and from the quick video you saw, I wanted to highlight just how easy this works. Our energized experiences are meant to introduce warm water, wake up your body, and bring in cool water to get that circulation going, help reduce stress and strain, and help you wake up during the day. Relaxation experiences are meant to bring warmer water to relax the body, maybe de-stress the muscles, get you ready for a good night's sleep, and use a varying temperature of water to do that at certain durations of time. And finally, well-being experiences, really focused on full body immersion, hydrotherapy, head, neck, shoulder experiences, releasing stress, strain, decongestion, and cold and cough and flu season as well. So great for upper respiratory relief, and I love those experiences. Some of the great spa experiences shown here, there are 8 shower and 3 steam experiences. Cool down happens to be my favorite. I use this a lot after post workouts. So nothing worse than getting home, taking a quick shower after a good run, and you leave the shower and you're still sweating. So I can take a cool down experience that reduces my core body temperature, helps me reduce that overall heat in my body, helps me cool and be ready to go. For anyone who's cold a lot, maybe has low iron count or takes an aspirin a day, thin blood, as you kind of go for circulation or bad circulation in your body, really that warm-up experience is a fantastic opportunity. It takes about 7.5 minutes to go through the experience and warms your body up. So saves you that 8 to 10 minutes of filling a tub and then the 20 minutes of soaking to get warm again. So really giving you the flexibility in about 7.5 minutes. And some great opportunities for, breathe and restore and head aid here as well in the well-being sequences. From a configuration standpoint, there are some options to get spa experiences. There's configurations A, B, and E. A and B are most comprehensive. They're holistically for all outlets being utilized. E is for our eco setup. So even in the most water sense conservative areas, especially like California, we have an eco setup that gives you flexibility to have all the spas at a reduced flow output, but still giving you the flexibility. And even in a one outlet setup, configuration C and D, probably the most comprehensive from a overall layout. We see more 3 outlet setups in showering spaces these days. You can still have some great spa experiences with a simple 3 outlet setup. So understanding how this works, just kind of color coding a few different pictures here. All of these installations, and I'll show you on the next couple slides, are available in our price book to show you how easy it is for layouts. But this just gives you that options with 3 and 6 port valve combinations to show you how those work together. From an operation, we have some additional charting and some different pieces that our sales teams can support if you want to look at this in different ways to showcase how the spas work and what spas are available with each, as well as some support documents to talk about each different setup. So configurations, what's included, how much is the cost, what do I have to think about? And probably my most favorite, some of the charting pieces that we created for takeaways. So typically seeing these, we make a copy out of the price book, we print some of these come in an Excel document as well, where we can use this as a checkoff list for specification, but also for the installer, using that top chart to print this off, put it in the showering space, and this is how the plumbing layout needs to be done based on what option you select. So these are available as well. And we do have some behind the wall pictures and imagery to show different setups from our 6-port, as we showed the 2 and 3 earlier, as well as a complete DTV Plus system shown on the right. So some great options, and we kind of talk about system setup and configurations as well. We talked about this from Mode with the app, DTV Prompt with using the interface. There's also a DTV Plus Quick Start software, and I'm going to kind of skip through the video because we have a couple of videos for custom and configuration, but really talk to each one, making it very simple. Yep.
Can I just make one comment about on the call we have some consultants and plumbers, and if you're specifying a DTV for your client and using one of these spa experiences that you found through the price book or the website or whatever, it's really important to be sure that you've closed the loop with the installer to be sure that they understand what the client's expecting when with positioning of all these components, and so they have the full ability to use the spa experiences. It really is a team effort to get those accomplished between the specifier and the plumber.
Absolutely. Great point, Amy. And I think having that conversation up front and understanding the layout is going to save a lot of time and labor and maybe issues down the road, having it plumbed correctly the first time. No worse scenario than saying, oh, I didn't know. So having that conversation ahead saying, this is the system, here's the layout, here's how it needs to be plumbed to give them those options is definitely a key conversation to have. Thanks for bringing that up, Amy. DTV Plus Quick Start gives us the ability on our DTV Plus systems to quickly set up whether it's manual or a custom, a configured setup. This one happens to be custom. The next one that would be in the slide deck shows you a configuration. So those A, B, C, D, E options. Most common is going to be a custom configuration. People are going to choose independent outlets, maybe set up their shower the way they want to, and maybe they want spa, maybe they don't. Maybe one of those configurations doesn't work and they want to do something different. So this gives us the ability to turn on your interface, set up your shower, select a custom setup in this application, and really independently select each outlet. So I can select outlet 1, turn it on, see the water running, understand, oh, that was a shower head. Okay, and then you'll see the icon populate. And you do that for each independent outlet to really customize your shower to match each of the outlets pretty quickly. And this takes about, in a custom setup, typically 2 minutes or so. So pretty quick and easy to set up. And then finally, as you walk through, you operate the system by selecting a few things, whether they have steam or massage, capable, then they can enable those as well by making sure the check mark is green. If it's red X, that means it's not set up. You simply just check the green, click on it with a fingertip, and it turns green, and you're good to go. And you set up your system, and you're able to utilize it and set up some additional feature sets and temperature, date, time, etc. So making it super simple on your system. We also have spa configuration setup. So as we talked about A, B, C, D, and E before, if you have one of those layouts, you can simply select the letter here. It will check to verify one of the outlets, make sure you're plumbed correctly, and it goes through all of those steps for you, so you don't have to do each independent outlet. And then you can enable your steam, massage, or spa features, and you're all set. This takes typically about 30 to 40 seconds to set up a configuration. So very quick, very easy, gives you options to do everything for the shower. Lighting, music, steam, they're all defaults. They're all easy. They all plug and play. They're ready to go. So simple and easy, and some additional configurations and also video support. So there's other ways to do a deeper dive and also configure things through your laptop and your home router or a router specifically. No internet is ever needed to run the system, but if you'd like to receive automatic updates, if we add more spas, we add additional languages, whatever it may be, having your system connected to your home network via a JR45 Ethernet cable is really important. It does those automatic updates for you between 12 and 2 at night, so making it super simple. And additional resources to show, these are just a couple extra slides on how this installation works. Pretty quick and easy to plug and play, and then also get your IP address from your system. So anyone who's connected to a home network typically will have an IP address. If they're not, they'll see all zeros shown here. And from their interface, they can simply select settings, system, and about to find that out. If they have one connected, they can simply type that IP address shown here on the top right into your Google Chrome browser and hit enter. And it gives you the ability to set up your system with our embedded web pages for things like date, time, temperature, Fahrenheit, and maybe user presets and typing in the names of each person. Remember, we have 6 with DTV Plus, so everyone in the house can have their own preset. And you can even select the valves, valve 1 and valve 2. If you're using multiple, one is only used, you'll only see one. You can see what turns on, what turns off. You can set what purges if you want something to be your default, and also some additional temperature setups here as well, in time and massage functions. Additionally, if you do set up this way versus quick start, you can also identify different experiences or different components. So a round shower head versus a square shower head, multiple body sprays versus a single. So you can really customize that space as well. And then you can order the icons on your interface. If you use one thing over the other, you can order it the way you like. If you add music, this is where you can name your amplifier. Mine happens to be a separate name for my space because I have a couple in my house. So I can name my master shower different than my kids' shower. So each person can connect to the right network, and also set passwords so people don't connect to your network or play your Bluetooth on you. Great for hospitality applications as well. And then the lighting options here, light 1, light 2, light 3. I can name each one. So mine in my house are shower, bathroom, and fan. So I have 3 different ones set up, so I can have those individually named and show up on the interface. And of course, if you have Steam, there's some additional functions for Steam to set up your system as well. So pretty quick and easy. And then some features for our customer service teams if you have any technical issues, and any other diagnostics, they can help you there. And for anyone doing a setup, installers, there's also a manual option. So if they're not connected to do an auto update, you can do a manual file selection, and Kohler customer service will help you with those. And we have directions to do that update as well. So pretty quick and easy. And finally, last piece I wanted to show you was our DTV Plus Connect option here. DTV Plus Connect really gives you the ability to control things from your interface, as well as with voice control, utilizing our smart home partners shown on the left to ask commands to start your shower, stop your shower, set a certain temperature, all by adding in that DTV Plus Connect bridge. It's a simple plugin to the system controller, and with a couple steps of connectability, you have a Kohler Connect app. You have control over your components, and also have voice control capability. So some feature sets that are really cool. And finally, manual control is always an option in any of our portfolio, especially with our connected products. You have manual voice and app control, so capabilities across the board. And finally, I'm going to skip this video. I love it, but it's really great. We have some older videos, some product videos, and we also have some app videos. So I just wanted to show you that these are available. Everything on Kohler YouTube for all of our video setups, as well as our installation. And If you happen to have one of the older systems, like shown here, our DTV 1, which happened to come out in 2005, you still can upgrade all the way to DTV Plus with our retrofit kits. So we're the only portfolio in the market that's able to do this. It gives you great flexibility in utilizing those components along the way. So options for you here as you go through, and just some key things to think about. Again, we talked about earlier, water, temperature, usage, and also don't forget about drainage as well. So a lot of great tools and resources and videos available for you online, YouTube, some tear pads, spec sheets, price books as well as part of diagram breakdowns online for you also. So some great opportunities here. So with that being said, I know we're a couple minutes to the end of the hour, and I wanted to make sure that we had time for some questions if you have any of those on the chat line. I know we cover a lot of material today, so thank you for your time as well. Any questions? And I'll open it up if anyone has any other ones that you see, Amy, or any questions from those on the line.
There are none on the chat right now. No questions.
Okay, I didn't see any either. Any questions from anyone on the phone today? Wow, we must have done a great job covering all the questions.
Hey, Kevin, this is Jonathan Gatewood. Hey, speak to us. I know you just said, obviously, the interface back from 2005 can be retrofitted up.
Yep.
I talked to the group about as we move forward into, let's say, 2025, 2030, are we still going to all the interfaces still always be retroactive back to the same valve platform?
Yeah, so as we look forward, what we will do in the future is we continue to add any new platforms, which of course you will see down the road. We will also make retrofit capabilities, and that's the plan from the team going forward, that you still can continue to upgrade. So you may have some pieces you may have to upgrade, maybe an interface or things like that, or maybe, as we adjust and new technology comes down the road, there may be one or two pieces along the way, but you'll still be able to configure and upgrade. So great question. Any other questions? All right. Well, I think one of the key things to take away here is you have a great group in the local sales force from the Kohler team. They're always available to answer any questions. They have me on speed dial. So some great opportunities to not only specify these products for your customers, but also some great installation and cost savings opportunities as well. So as we kind of come to a close here at the end of the session, if you do think about questions after the fact, or you have additional questions, the local team would definitely love to answer those and definitely connect with them as well. And if we have any additional questions or additional resource needs, they will let me know and we can connect back with you. But I also want to let you know that our Kohler customer service team is there to help. They have a team dedicated specifically for digital and smart and technical products. They're available for you every single day of the week for any of those questions, installation, and product ordering as well. So options for you there. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.